I just thought I would come on quickly and congratulate Nigel Farage. Farage, don't know, whichever one it is, whichever you choose. Congratulations, Nigel, for wasting the taxpayers approximately £300,000 for a vanity by-election against a man in a bin suit. I hope you're really, really happy with yourself. But for me, it really just highlights the massive, massive problem with politics today and the fact that it's just an absolute fucking joke, isn't it? Really? Isn't it? He started this by-election to gain a mandate for an area that he already had a mandate because he was already the MP. But he just did it to, prove a point, get out of trouble, make sure he kept his 5 million quid that he was given. The problem with politics at the moment is that nobody knows who to stand behind because politics has become so divisive. Yes, absolutely around the world, but definitely here in the UK and certainly in America, is that no longer is politics something that you keep to yourself and you go to a voting booth and decide who you want to vote for. Now it's this public matter, this discourse, this argument in the pub, this thing that defines who we are as a person. Are we a lefty? Are we a right-wing Nazi? Why can't we just be something normal, something in the middle? And who is representing that? Who is representing that sort of centrist sort of movement in the UK? Nobody. There is nobody that is representing the people that don't want to refer to themselves as left or right. And that is a real problem because all that has left us with is complete extremism. And until somebody shows up and is prepared to be the reasonable person in the middle, I don't know how we get away from the current situation that we're in. And I think that it's always just going to get worse. Now, there is somebody on the political scene at the moment that I do like, which is Rupert Lowe. And I've met Rupert and I've had the opportunity to talk to him briefly. And I filmed him for an upcoming documentary I'm doing. And I do really, really like Rupert. But Rupert is only one man and the party is still young. And I personally do have concerns with some people that align themselves with the party. And I think more needs to be done to push back against the extremism that is fostering itself within that party. And I will say that does concern me. That doesn't waver my faith in Rupert, but I think some people around him need to up their game slightly if he's going to be ready to be any meaningful contender in the next general election, whenever that may be. Politics in the UK is completely screwed at the moment. It is completely screwed, and it makes me worried for the future because we're on the precipice of an awful lot changing with robotics, AI. You talk about all this stuff and it almost sounds like sci-fi. You sort of feel stupid even mentioning it. But which party out there is going to be ready to take us into sort of the next evolution of mankind? Because in the next 10 years, the way we live our life now will be unrecognisable from what it will be in 10 years. I mean, you have a look at the things that people are using AI for now. I mean, I was doing some work helping my wife sort out her website yesterday, and I realised that I could actually give ChatGPT access to Squarespace, and it gives me a little window, and you can see the AI moving the cursor around, redesigning the web page, moving things around, doing all the SEO, everything like that. And you think, that's somebody's job. That's somebody's job gone, or a couple of people's jobs gone by a computer. Now, I'm not sitting here being anti-AI at all. I believe in technology. I love technology. I'm surrounded by gadgets and gizmos and all kinds of things, and I love it. All of them make my job easier. And without AI, the job that I do, I would be having to employ people. Well, that sounds like it would be a good thing, but I don't have the means or the funds to do so. So I'm able to do a lot more work and still charge a reasonable rate, and it means that I can get a lot of work done. So it gives me opportunity that I wouldn't have had before. So I'm not anti-AI, I'm not anti-technology, but we do have to be ready for whatever is going to be the next step in human evolution, in societal evolution, because otherwise we're going to be caught unawares. Tell me the party that's out there at the moment that has a reasonable plan for that, because I don't. You know, I've listened to Elon Musk. Some people love him, some people hate him. I like Elon Musk. I think he's got great ideas. I think he's a visionary. I think that he will bring us into the future. But if he's going to bring us into the future, which leader out there, which political party is ready to tackle the problems that the future brings? Because without it, there is a dystopian-like taste in my mouth about what the future could look like. And how do you deal with the rise in AI and robotics without looking at something like universal basic income? Universal basic income is a tricky one, because if it was used in the right way by the right people, then I can understand why it would be a benefit to all of us, because, you know, with the lack of work and jobs available, people are going to need that support. But when you've got universal basic income being controlled and wielded over you by a government that you don't believe in, or that suppresses its people and suppresses freedom of speech, universal basic income stops being something to help you, and it starts being a tool used to control you. It's like digital ID. Now, digital ID in the right hands, some people could argue, would be a good thing. It makes things faster, cheaper, more convenient. At the same time, digital ID in the wrong hands, again, is just nothing more than a means to control you. So how do we broach this brave new world that we could be stepping into at any moment, and make sure that we still remain sovereign and free in the process? Because these very tools that are being designed to take away, you know, workload, stress, and give us convenience could also just turn out to be the very tools that are used to suppress us. And how do we overcome that? I don't know. I mean, we talk about universal basic income. Elon Musk talks about universal high income, as in the fact that everybody will have everything that they need and you won't need to worry about that. But which government do you know out there at the moment that would be willing to do that for its people? Because if everybody has everything that they want, what do they need from the government? What level of control does the government then have over its people? And the answer is it doesn't. It's really sad to me that we've walked blindly, for the most part, into a situation where the people that we elect to represent us and to take care of the country have taken that power and used it against us. And it's happening all over the world. And it's shocking to see that it's happening somewhere here, like in good old Blighty. But it is, and our political system does need to change. You know, we are currently sitting with an unelected Prime Minister, and you can say that we're a parliamentary party system and that we don't vote for who's going to be PM, we vote for the party, and then the party gets to choose who they want to represent them, and that's why we have a PM the way that we do. I understand that. I'm not stupid. I'm just saying that it's wrong. One thing I do agree with about our lovely current PM is devolution of power. And not in the way that he's doing it. He's devoluting power to the north and splitting it up into sections. I believe in devolution of power back to the actual people, and that centralised planning, the way that the government is doing it at the moment, doesn't work, and that we need to go back to a simpler time in respect of laws, rules, and how we govern ourselves, because the overcomplicatedness of the system that we use at the moment leaves us vulnerable to the situation that we're in at the moment. And we need to strip it all back, simplify our laws, look at the birthplace of our laws. The birthplace of the British Constitution, in fact, was actually the Magna Carta, and it's a very different set of rules to ones we live by today, because they've taken the Magna Carta and sort of expanded out from that into this massive system that we have today, whereas really we just need to go back, simplify it, and bring it more back in line with what it was originally. And in fact, you know, those just tend to or happen to be, you know, the rules that good law-abiding Christians follow. You know, do no harm, love thy neighbour. These are all great rules to live by, and we just need to decomplicate, is that a word? Uncomplicate the situation. And get back to basics, because we are not ready for AI. We are not ready for robotics. You know, everybody seems to have forgotten that at sort of tail end of last year, we were being shown all these robots that would be available this year. Now, obviously, they're not here yet, and these things always get set back. But certainly in the next year or two, you're going to be able to buy a robot that can cook, clean, do everything that you need it to do around the house, you know, unpack your shopping, do all your laundry, your ironing, all that sort of stuff, for about 20 grand. Now, £20,000, that seems like a lot, right? Who's got a spare 20 grand? But if that machine is doing that work for you, how much time does that spare up for you to do other things, to work, to spend more quality time with your family? Now, let's say you have the option of renting this unit for £400 a month. Who isn't going to spend £400 a month to take all that workload off them? And how much time does that free up for you to do other things? I don't know many people that wouldn't stretch themselves to be able to have that convenience. The world is about to change. The world is not ready for change. So which political leader out there is ready now to make the changes, to make sure that humanity or mankind, or even just their particular country, doesn't walk into the future with a blindfold on? Answers on a postcard. Take care. Bye-bye.